Hello, everybody. I just wanted to make sure that I'm recording and live streaming on Facebook. Thank you for attending the Social Innovation webinar from the New Jersey Office of Faith-Based Initiatives Funding Opportunity. Let me begin. My name is Eddie Laporte, and I'm the Executive Director of the New Jersey Office of Faith-Based Initiatives. So today we're going to review the grant guidelines, and we're going to show you how to access the application, and we're going to take a quick tour of the OFBI website. You can post all your questions on the Q&A or even in the chat, and after the webinar I will answer each and every one of the questions. Thank you. To download the application, you'll need to go to this website, or you can Google the New Jersey Office of Faith-Based Initiatives. I've been here for over 15 years, and that's what I do. This link is just too long. You can scroll down to Spotlight and then click Grant Opportunities, but I'm going to show you how to do that. Make sure to download the grant guidelines and follow along if you haven't, but I'm going to go over the grant guidelines through this webinar. Our SAGE website, SAGE is the online portal or grant portal where you have to upload the application. It's www.sage.nj.gov, www.sage.nj.gov. We are recording this Zoom and we'll be posting it on our webinar page, and it's also streaming live on Facebook, so you can go check it out there at our New Jersey, our OFBI page is NJOFBI. All right, the browser. All right, so this was a typo. Do not use Internet Explorer because it's obsolete. You can use Microsoft Edge, you can use Safari, or you can use Firefox. Do not use Google Chrome. If you're working on this application with a number of different folks, let them know not to use Google Chrome. They need to use either Microsoft Edge, Safari, or Firefox. Why don't you want to use Google Chrome? Because Google Chrome is not compatible to Sage, which is our online grant application portal. So if you're using Google Chrome, it's going to look like you're inserting data, you're uploading stuff, and it's even going to act, when you submit it, it's even going to let you think that you submitted it, but we will never get it. And there will be no proof that we ever received it. So please do not use Google Chrome. Use either Microsoft Edge, Safari, or Firefox. Excuse me. Remember to always hit the save button in Sage. Sage doesn't have an automatic save feature. And let your people know that too, whoever you're delegating this to, because if you input information on a particular page in Sage and you move from that page without saving, everything you uploaded is lost, and you have to do it all over again. All right. Any questions, you can call us at 609-984-6952, 609-984-6952, or you can email us at ofbi@sos.nj.gov, ofbi@sos.nj.gov. We're really responsive with our emails, so you can email us. That's if you want a quick response. All right, now we're going to go live. Again, make sure if you have your grant guidelines, follow along. And let me go to the first page here. Hold on. Okay. So if you Google the New Jersey Office of Faith-Based Initiatives and or insert the link nj.gov/state/ofbi.shtml, you're going to be on this page. This is our OFBI homepage, right? And so in order to get to our grant opportunities, you can click the grant opportunities button up top, or you can take a little stroll down our website. This is a speaker series that we've started last year. This is our first webinar that we've done. Resources under the link Instant Connect is how you can register to be on our constant contact database, where you will be informed of funding, training, and other resource opportunities. Trending at OFBI is our speaker series, and what we've done quarterly. And then for our grant opportunities, if you, under spotlights, you would click grant opportunities to get to our page. Now, when you get to our page, you'll see that the grant opportunities, of course, you'll see our FY23 funding opportunities. So why are we calling it FY23 if we're in FY22? Well, the state of New Jersey operates on a fiscal calendar, not a yearly calendar. And so our fiscal year begins July 1, 2022 and ends June 30. Our FY23 fiscal year starts July 1, 2022 and ends June 30th, 2023. So that's why it's called FY 2023. The application due date is May 12th. Now listen, this is March 16th, right? 2 months to get this thing in. 2 months. And it is not a very tough application to write. In fact, if you're the type of organization that likes to groom potential leaders, this might be a good exercise for them to participate in so that they get a sense of how to write a grant, right? This is just that. If you look at grant guidelines, each link will take you to our grant guidelines. Today, we're going to be speaking about social innovation. Yesterday, we had a webinar on special projects, and Monday, we had a webinar on Project Atlas grant guidelines. Tomorrow, we'll have a webinar on social enterprise entrepreneurship development. If you scroll further down, you'll see that Monday's webinar is already posted. Tuesday's webinar, yesterday's webinar is already posted. Today's webinar will be posted hopefully by the close of business today or tomorrow. And then tomorrow's webinar will be posted here. If you scroll further down, you'll see our supporting documents. You'll see the board resolution. You'll see the project. If you're not applying for Project Atlas, there's no need to open up the Project Atlas needs assessment. If you're not applying for SEED, which is a social enterprise entrepreneurship development grant, I'll talk about that tomorrow. But today, the logic model for social innovation special project and Project Atlas is this link. If you scroll further down, you'll see Division of Consumer Affairs charity registration. If you need to apply for your organization's charity registration number or need to renew, you can download the portal filings, and I'll explain that. If you scroll up to the top, there is another button named webinar, and on the right here, this navigation bar is our webinars, right? So if you click webinars, they have to remove this. If you click webinars, you'll see that I need you to focus on these two webinars. The first one is if you've never applied to Blue Sage or a grant from the Office of Faith-Based Initiatives or any grant in the Department of State, you need to register into Blue Sage in order to gain access to create your application in Blue Sage. Now, if you've written applications for Green Sage has nothing to do with Blue Sage. So this webinar here will give you, it's a 5-minute webinar, and it will tell you what you need to do in order to register into Blue Sage. Once you register into Blue Sage, you'll get an email from the Department of State saying, hey, you're registered onto Blue Sage. You now have gain access to the application process. Without that email, you can't get into Sage. Now, it takes about 5 business days, right? So it's March 16th. You've got time. But let me tell you, when you're going to do this on May 8th, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So if you're not registered, I would suggest that you register in Blue Sage, like today. The second webinar here will focus on the 5 documents that you need to upload into Sage in order for us, if you're fortunate enough to be awarded, to receive a grant from the Office of Faith-Based Initiatives. So this webinar will walk you through the Department of Treasury's website to be able to download your Division of Revenue, get your Division of Revenue number and download proof that that number is valid, to download the Certificate of Incorporation, and the certificate of standing. This same webinar would also walk you through the Division of Consumer Affairs charitable registration site and show you what you need to do to show proof that your charity registration number is compliant. And if it's not compliant, it'll provide you with the information that you need to do in order to become compliant, right? So these are the two webinars that you're gonna have to check out. Now let me come in here. So just so that we have a basic understanding, this second webinar that I talked about, organizational information, that says step 1, it'll tell you how to get this document if you're compliant. If you're not compliant, it'll tell you what you need to become compliant, and then you need to upload this letter of compliance if you were not compliant and I had to go through the process of becoming compliant, right? The DCA portal filing instruction that's on our website, on the bottom of the website, this is the document that you're going to need in order to either register to get your charity registration number and or find out why you're not compliant and become compliant. Now, if you're found to be non-compliant, do not call us because we can't help you with this. You need to call the number at the bottom of the portal filing, 973-504-6215, and work with them. Folks, this is something that you can't resolve like 2 weeks prior to the application due date. This is an exercise that I would give to somebody who you're grooming for leadership in your organization to try to get this information for you while someone else in the organization is working on the narrative and the budget of the organization, okay? Now, the business registration certificate needs to look like this. That's it. Not an application. If it doesn't look like this, what's on the screen, it's not going to be approved, and we're not going to be able to contract with you. So you need to at least upload that. The effective date will be different, and the date of issuance will be different. You'll have to upload your IRS determination letter. The second webinar that I showed you will provide you with if you need to upload your IRS determination letter, and if you can't find it in your organization, you're going to have to navigate the IRS website to get your IRS determination letter. And this is how it looks. This is how it looks, right? And it'll say, we are pleased to inform you that upon review of your application for tax exempt status, we have determined that you are exempt from federal income tax. That's what you need. You need this letter. Then you need to upload your certificate of incorporation, and this is how it looks. And then when you download the certificate of incorporation, you'll download everything that you uploaded to become incorporated in the state of New Jersey. It'll come with the download. And then you also need to upload your short standing, right? Certificate of standing, which looks just like this, right? So we're looking for a certificate of standing that says 2022. That's what we're looking for. Not 2019, not 2020, not 2021, 2022. So you can get that downloaded and uploaded. Let me see what else. Okay. So now we're going to talk about the grant guidelines themselves, right? So you can download the grant guidelines on our website, like I showed you. Now, organizations applying for social innovation can only apply for one funding category within social innovation, and I'll explain that in a second. And you can also apply for a grant under special projects. Now, if you want to know what that's about, you go back onto our website and watch the special projects, TA that we did yesterday. The applications are due May 12th, 2022 at 4:59 p.m. See, but between now and like 2 weeks prior to May 12th, you can take my time hostage. You can ask me a million questions, but the week prior or even a few days prior, I'm not going to have the time to like sit with you and walk you through the application process if you're just beginning to register for the first time. So please, I'm begging you, don't wait until the last minute. A lot of organizations aren't able to submit their applications because they waited to the last minute, and you've got close to 2 full months to get this done. All right. You need to be a faith-based, nonprofit, or community-based organization to apply. And then you need those documents that I talked about earlier: charity registration number, business registration number, IRS determination letter, certificate of incorporation, certificate of standing. right? That's what you need to do in order to apply. Now, this version is version 5. So that means there were 4 previous versions that we had uploaded and that we had made changes to. So you need to work off of the grant guidelines that on the footer says V5 for version 5. Ineligible applicants, houses of worship, colleges or universities, public schools, charter schools, or private schools. Now, the 3 funding opportunities under social innovation are college readiness, youth entrepreneurship, and STEAM, right? Those are it. So college readiness, the max you can request is 20, youth entrepreneurship is 15, and STEAM is 15,000. College readiness grant is designed to create a greater access to college targeting the ages between 16 and 65. I don't know, there's a lot of people that may want to go to college. You may have a different population that you're working with. And so we used to call it youth college readiness, but now we're just calling it college readiness. Funding can be used, but not limited to subsidizing a minimum of 5 college application fees, college acceptance fees, coordinating college tours, and completion of student FAFSA applications. You can do workshops to make sure that they know what they're doing. And how many programs participants were accepted and how many will be entering college in September, in spring, and I should have said fall and spring of 2022. I don't know why. No, 2023, right? All right. Youth entrepreneurship is designed to develop skills and strategies that equip youth and attend middle school or high school. The goal is to promote entrepreneurial literacy among at-risk youth. You can even build in financial literacy in this, because there's no way for a program to teach youth entrepreneurship to not include financial literacy. It just doesn't make any sense not to do that, right? OFBI funds can be used to provide startup capital for groups of youth that want to start their own businesses. The startup capital cannot exceed $500, and the capital should not. The organization will steward the startup capital for program participants. Because if you gave me $500 at 15 and 16, I'm going to go buy me a pair of sneakers. So that's why we don't want you to give them the money. All right, organizations applying for this grant must indicate in the application which existing youth entrepreneurship curriculum will be used and why was it chosen. So, you should be using an approved curriculum. We don't want organizations to just figure out how to teach youth entrepreneurship if the organization doesn't have any experience in training and understanding the skill sets that are needed to be entrepreneurs. STEM. The STEM grant will create opportunities for at-risk youth to creatively explore career pathways in STEM fields. The goal is to provide high-quality STEM programming that encourages students to incorporate STEM learning in their everyday lives. And so organizations applying for this grant must use relevant real-world applications of STEM content and involve professionals within the STEM field as part of the program delivery, right? So you can have guest speakers, the hope is that maybe you're meeting in person and not doing this virtually, so that you can really get involved in the hands-on process of STEM, right? Let me see. Application requirements. Applications missing requested information will be disqualified from review. I talked about what those requirements are. Applicants rating a 69% or lower. 69 is a D. So if you get a D, you're not going to get funded. But 70 or higher, you'll be considered for funding. But you're going to probably need to score higher than a 70 for us to reach you. Right. So I'm going to talk about each section, right? And this is really easy stuff, I think. So the first section on Sage is a project summary, 4,000 characters. And you need to be able to answer these 2 bullets. Now, the reason it's important that you have the grant guidelines next to you is because when you do the application on Sage, this information, the 2 bullets, the description criteria column, is not in Sage. So So you need to use this guidelines in order to answer each section correctly. And this section is real simple, right? Indicate the amount that you're applying for and the purpose of the program. Ensure all clients receive services are low income, and explain how you will verify their low income status. Organization capacity, 4,000 characters. I even give you the ratings over here, what each section is valued at. Provide a brief history of the organization. Now listen, you only have 4,000 characters, right? We don't really need to know that, the founding fathers, grandparents, forefathers traveled on a boat and landed on a Plymouth Rock. We don't need to know all that. We just this is where we're at for the last 15, 20 years. This is what we're doing for the last 2 years. This is what we're doing. This is who we are. This is our leadership. This is how long we've been in the community. This is the impact that we've had. Provide a brief description of the makeup of the board of directors. How many times are they scheduled to meet, and how many times did they meet in 2021? Provide a description of the staff associated with the program and what are their roles, right? A statement of need. Indicate which surveys, needs assessments were used to inform the organization that the program it is applying for is needed in the community, right? So we want to get a sense here of, are you just saying you want to do youth entrepreneurship because you think it's a good idea? Or are you saying you want to do youth entrepreneurship because that's a program that the community wants in place? And if that's a program that the community wants in place, we want to see proof of either, and you don't have to have created the survey or the needs assessment. You can use someone else's survey or needs assessment. We just want to make sure that what you're implementing is a service that is a demand of service for the community, right? Because it doesn't make any sense to create a program and you're struggling to get 4 people. Because to me, if you're struggling to get 4 people, well, it's not something that the community really wants. And so maybe it's something that you don't really need to do. Or how about this one? Maybe the community doesn't know that it needs a particular program. How about that? And that you're going to create a survey monkey, which is another exercise that you can provide to an up-and-coming leader in your organization to draft, 5 questions about a youth entrepreneurship program, and they can release it through the smartphone and on your website and get feedback. It's free. And that's enough information for you to decide, yeah, you know what? Yeah, they want youth entrepreneurship, but you know what? No, they don't want youth entrepreneurship. They want something else. So we want to know, is there a demand for this service that you're providing? Statement of collaboration. Describe who are the 3 collaborating partners and how will the partnership impact the organization's ability. Okay, let me say this. We are not asking you to upload letters of support. We're not. We're asking you to describe the partnership with 3 distinct different organizations and how each of those organizations will help you move the vision of this program forward and what their role might be in helping you implement a successful program. And I'll show you how to upload those 3 descriptions. Program design. Provide a detailed description of the project and answer the 5 W's: who, what, where, when, and why. That's it. Who, what, where, who are they? What, what's going on? Where's it going to happen? When is it going to happen? And why are you doing it? If you can answer those 5 W's, and look, that's 20 points. That's a big one. That's a big one. And a lot of people lose a lot of points on this one piece, in this one section here. Target population, there's no points there, but we want to know who your target population is. Gender, income, educational status, economic status, all that stuff. Goals and objectives. Indicate the goals and objectives associated with the project. And then you're going to have to upload the logic model. You're going to say, a logic model? What in the world is a logic model? And here it is. So on our website, let me just go back to our website. On our website, you'll see on the bottom, you'll see supporting documents, logic model, right? SI, SP, and PA. So if you're applying for social innovation or special projects or Project Atlas, this is a logic model that you have to use, right? And so let's go back here and let me show you what the logic model is. It's real simple, man. This is a real simple logic model. I know some folks like to get really extravagant and really, really submit a spider web type of a logic model where you need, you need a PhD to read it. And so what we're asking you is fill in these 5 columns. Resources. So the resources columns are all the resources that you need to implement this program. And the information in this column should align with the budget that you're asking for. It just makes sense, right? Activities. If you have these resources, then you can do these activities. And right, whatever and those activities should align with the project description, right? And then if you have these activities, you should have some certain outputs, right? What are those goals? What are those outputs? And then and these outputs should align with your goals and objectives. Same thing with the outcomes. If the outputs and then the outcomes give you the impact, right? And if you have these outputs, you're able to create these outcomes. What is the end result of Eddie participating in a STEM class? Like what is it that he or Edwina is going to get out of it, and that is how you're going to indicate the value of your project moving forward. Okay, so and then we want you to upload the logic model. I'm going to do like a 5-minute webinar, like an intro to logic models, so whoever you're giving this task to, they can at least watch that webinar and get a basic understanding of what's there or what they need to upload. Budget. Here we go. So the budget. You need to complete all the budget forms on Sage. The second bullet, $2,000 of grant funds can be used for purchase of technology. You don't have to use $10,000, but we're saying $2,000, but we're saying to you, if you want to use up to $2,000 to purchase and upgrade your technology, then go for it. If you want to get 2 laptops and 2 docking stations so that your staff can be mobile as they're out in the community doing what they're trying to do, then perfect, purchase it, right? $1,500 of the grant funds can be used for administrative costs. Now, nonprofits have been beaten the head that funders will not give them allow them to use their money for administrative costs. And so I've heard your pleas and I heard your cries, and I said, you know what, I'm going to allow you to use up to $1,500 of the grant for administrative costs. And then when I did that, nonprofits were like, what are administrative costs? And I realized that organizations have been like, they forgot about admin costs. So the easiest way for me to explain administrative costs is $1,500 will support expenses that are not yet realized that relate to the program, right? So let's say you didn't budget for food and you're getting kids and they're coming to the program hungry, boom, you got $1,500, you can use some of that money for food. Let's say that somebody said, it'd be a great idea if we can have a graduate assistant or a graduate student or even an undergrad student to help us here, I don't know, in STEM, because they're majoring in computer science. Oh man, but we don't have the money to pay them a stipend. Yes, you do. You got $1,500 right there. So you can give them a little stipend. I don't know what that stipend is, but it's better than nothing. So that money will give you the flexibility to further enhance your program, right? And then you can use $1,000 for staff development, right? Now, again, I've worked in nonprofits, so I understand that. I got friends that still work there, and the pay is it's close to what I was making 25, 30 years ago. It hasn't really changed much, right? And so, but I had the good fortune of working with nonprofit leaders that invested in my success by sending me to trainings, right? And I've always said, if I ever become a funder, I'm always going to allow organizations to use some of the funding to help develop staff and allow the staff to go get trained, come back to the organization and practice how to apply those theoretical concepts that they learned at the training in the organization. So that's up to $1,000. And then up to 85% of the grant can be used for personnel. Here's a question. If you're applying for $20,000, let's say, right, the $2,000, the $15,000, and the $1,000 coming out of that $20,000, right? And then the 85% of the grant comes out of that $20,000. So it's not like you're working with a whole lot of money. So you have to figure out what's important to the organization, what's important to the to staffing, what's important for staff development, what's important for your technological environment, and you got to figure all that out. Under appendices, you will upload the logic model, and under required appendices, you will upload the board resolution. And that's what I forgot to put up here, is the board resolution. Let me show you what the board resolution looks like. If I can find it real quick. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Board resolution. This is the board resolution right here. So when you go to our website, right, on the supporting documents, you'll see a link for board resolution. You have to download the board resolution to your PDF laptop or pad, and it's a fillable PDF. So you fill it out, right? You fill it out, and you upload it. So that's the board resolution, right? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to, where the heck are we gonna go? We're gonna go to Sage, right? So this is what Sage looks like. We call it Blue Sage because on the top left-hand corner, the letters are blue, right? I mean, it's real easy. So after you've registered for Sage, if you've never registered, applied for a grant from the state of New Jersey, and or if you have applied for a grant and got funded and or didn't get funded, you come to www.sage.nj.gov. Now, this is our test site. So this is the site that we use for training purposes and to test our applications, to test our reports before we let them go live. If you're a past user of Blue Sage and you forgot your username and password, click Forgot Username and Password. Now, it's going to ask you for an email. The email that you need to insert in here is the email that you registered with last year, right? If not, it's not going to send it to the email that you inputted there. So what you can do is you can reach out to the Office of Faith-Based Initiatives and ask us, hey, can you tell me what my email is? And we're going to have to figure out how to find that stuff and then find it for you. Say, this is your email. And we can even give you your username, but we can't give you your password. That you're going to have to reset. All right. So let's say you have your username and your password, Angela Gonzalez. She's the executive director of Servicios Latino de Burlington County. We use her as our test person and her organization as our test site. She's been really nice to us. She's allowed us to do this, and we love you, Angela. You put your username, you put your password, and you click login. Now, for those who have never used Sage before, Sage can be very temperamental, right? It can take forever. On a good day, it can take forever. On a bad day, it could take forever. All right, so you land onto the My Task page. On the right, on the left-hand corner, you'll say, welcome, Angela, or welcome the person who registered. Your My Task box, which is this big blue box, will not look this busy. Again, this is our test site. It'll probably be just a blank box. After you get on this home page, oh, let me do this first. So there's the two videos that I showed you on the webinar page. The first one, when you register, no, the second one, when you register, and you have access to Sage, it's going to tell you to go to organization information page, right? Let me see. And you click the name of your organization. And you click organization detail. The webinar will teach you all of this. And then you click the second link here that says blah, 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 Office of Faith-Based Initiative, Tribal Tourism. You click that. And then it brings you to the additional profile information page, additional organizational profile information page. This is where you upload your charity's information, the division of revenue, and the proof of that, when you input the board president, chairperson, when you upload your IRS determination letter, certificate of incorporation, certificate of standing. I'm showing you this because when we create the application and I say Sage is pulling information from the profile information page, it's pulling it from this page. And if this page is not completed, you won't be able to submit your application. All right. So let me go back to the home page. Like like when you register for the first time, when you access Sage. Now this sounds like a lot, but it's really not. So when you get to the home page, you want to create the application, you scroll to the bottom and you click View Opportunities. And then under provider, you expand the drop-down box and you choose NJ Sage _DOS. And then under document instance, you'll write social innovation. And you click filter. What will pop up is Social Innovation 2023, but because it is a test site, I have to look for it. So you're looking for OFBI Social Innovation 2023, right? It'll pop up and it'll say OFBI Social Innovation 2023 and the name of the organization. You come down to the bottom, you click Apply Now. This is the DOS agreement page. This is the general funding guidelines. And then the second link is a guideline that's on our website. You click I agree. And then you're in the document snapshot page, right? If you look at here on the details, it'll say OFBI Social Innovation 2023. It'll say the name of the organization. It'll say authorized official, and it'll say application in process. Now, this will be empty, but the moment you submit the application, this will be populated with all the information that you uploaded into Sage. So the first thing we want to do, let me give you a little tour of this site here. So the forms menu, you hover over forms. You don't have to click on it. Hover over forms. Come to the side, scroll down. These are all the forms that you need to complete for the application. Status change. This is where you submit the application. So when you're ready to submit the application, you click the apply status on the application submitted. Folks, let me say this. Sometimes there is a miscommunication with an organization and you have 5 people working on an application, and for some reason 5 people create 5 different applications, and then people are filling in different sections of each of the 5 applications, thinking that they're working on one application, and then they can't submit it. So whoever in your organization is doing this needs to let people know that this is the grant number that you're applying for, and the application that we're working on is OFBI, because every time you create an application, you're given a unique grant number that's attached to your organization. So you want to make sure that everybody is writing the application or sections of that application under this grant number, right? It's really easy, right? Status change, submitted, management tools. Now, if you want to print a blank full version of the application, you can click create full blank print version. It'll give you a PDF version of the application. And if you have Adobe Pro DC, you can then export the PDF into a Word document, and then you can complete the Word document and then copy and paste the narrative into Sage. Before you do that, Sage has character counts, and Microsoft Word character count and the Sage character counts are different. So if you're going to use Microsoft Word as the document where you're going to write the draft of the application, before you copy and paste the narratives into Sage, copy and paste the narratives into the notes section of your computer, because the notes section character count is similar to Sage's character count. Okay, that's very important. Once the application is submitted, if you want to print the full print version of the completed application, then you click this, right? Related documents and messages. This is a section that once, if you're fortunate enough to be awarded, this is the area or the section where you would have to click to sign the application, the contract, the voucher, and all that other good stuff. So let's go to Forms menu. When you come to the Forms menu, the first thing we want you to do is click Profile Information. Now you're going to notice that all this stuff is empty here. And you're going to say, well, how am I going to fill this out? It's real easy. Remember that page that I showed you about the profile additional information page where you needed to upload all that information for the charity registration number? And remember when you read, when I talked about you got to register for Sage for the first time, blah, blah, blah. Well, all the information from those 2 pages will populate in here. And I'm gonna show you how you do that. So you have to fill out these 4 boxes first. So you wanna go to, let's see, you're gonna go to Mr., I guess, and then you're gonna, you're gonna write somebody. It can be Brad Pitt. I'm just using Brad. This is a fictional site, so I'm gonna. No, you know what? Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me put Denzel in here. Let me give my man some love. Denzel Washington, right? And we're gonna put actor. Right. This is just fictitious, folks. This is just so that we can keep this thing moving. When you're done with that, you come to the bottom and you click this box. By checking this box, you confirm that all information shown above is accurate to the best of your knowledge. Now, then I need you to go up to the top of the page and click save. Right? Now, on March 29th or April 14th, you're not going to get panicked, right? Because you got an error. You're not going to get panicked, because what you're going to do is you're going to hit save again, because sometimes you have to hit save twice in order for Sage to migrate all the required information from those 2 pages that I talked about earlier onto this page. So you hit save again. And you'll see this little green light, right? Everything has been populated, and boom, everything that you put in here in those other 2 pages populates. Now, I said April 14th, there's no panic. You're gonna panic on April 12th when you hit save and there's an error button, and you're gonna forget everything this webinar says because you waited to the last minute. So please don't wait to the last minute. So now I want you to go hover over Forms menu and go to the next form on this list, which is selection of grant categories. This is where, you write the name of the project. I'm just going to write test for, and then you pick one of these 3, whether it's college readiness, youth, or STEM. I'm going to use college readiness. You come up to the top and you click save. And then you got a green light. It says everything has been saved. You hover over forms and you click organization contact information. All right. So you scroll down and you need to, anything with an asterisk, you need to complete, right? So we're going to say, for authorizing official is George Jefferson from Good Times. Remember that? No, not Good Times. I forget the name of the show. I'm just going to say organization name. He owned a laundromat, so I'm going to say laundromat. No, he owned the dry cleaners, right? And we're going to say New York. Again, this is fictional, 123 Ave. You're going to say the city is Manhattan, but we know you're going to put New Jersey. I'm just going to put New Jersey here. I'm just going to put a zip code there. The fax number is 123-123-1234. There's no asterisks for fax, so you don't have to worry about that. Email is georgejefferson@gmail.com. And the program director is this is an old one. Mary Tyler Moore. You guys remember that one? My mother and I used to watch that show all the time. Mary Tyler Moore, right? I don't know where she was at, so I'm just going to say I don't know Avenue. And the city is, I have no idea. And the state is, who knows? So I'm going to say New Hampshire. And I'm just going to 08901. I'm just going to put 9 numbers there. Telephone is 123-123-1234. The email is going to be marytylermoore@gmail.com. I'm really aging myself here, folks. The financial officer is Fonzie. Remember Fonzie, right? I don't know what his last name, so I'm just going to say Fonzie again. And his number is 123-123-1234. And the email is Fonzie Mr. Cool at gmail.com, and the agency budget is going to be $1 million. All right. When you're done with this, now, folks, one of the things about the email is if you make sure that you put an email in here that you check on a regular, because when you're approved funding, we pull this information so that we can communicate with you, right? So just make sure there are emails that everybody looks at. Go up to the top and click save. All right, everything has been saved. You got the green light. Then you go to the next form, and you put in project summary. Now, this is why it's important that you have the grant guidelines next to you, because when you get to the sections where you have to insert narrative, there's nothing telling you what goes in the box. So you need to be able to have the grant guidelines next to you so that you just don't write whatever you want to write, because if you don't answer the bullets that are here and this gets reviewed by peer reviewers, they're going to say they didn't even answer what they were supposed to answer in the section, and you're going to get 0 points, because that's happened before. So now you scroll up to the top and you can click save, or you can click save next. By clicking save next, it'll take you to the next form. So I'm going to click save next just to show you that it'll save it and it'll take you to the next form. All right, organizational capacity, again, you've got to have the grant guidelines next to you. Now, there's 4,000 characters. Now, what you want to do is, let's say, how can I be efficient with my character counts? C-H-A-R, character counts. Well, one way that you can be efficient with your character count is not to double space after periods, because right now that's 48. Let me double space. That's 50, right? And another way that you can be efficient with your character count is not to space for a paragraph. So this is 48. I'm gonna space. Boom! You just took two characters away, and let me do another space. Now you took 4 characters away. So you got to be really, what you want to do is single space and try to do everything in one big paragraph, so that you can save and really put as much information as you can in the character count. All right, now you click save, go up to the top and click save. And hover over forms menu and go to statement of need. Again, you'll need the grant guidelines next to you so that you'll know what in the world you're putting in here that aligns with the grant guidelines. For these purposes, I'm not going to repeat what I said earlier. You can watch the webinar again. I'm going to click save next, or you can go to Facebook, OFBI NJ OFBI, where this is being streamed live. And it'll be there after this webinar closes. Now, statement of collaboration. So you need to put 3 statements of collaboration. So you're going to put org 1, the name of the organization, and then you have 1,500 characters to talk about the role of that partner in the implementation of this project. So I'm going to just put test. Scroll up to the top. All right, and it's saved. Then you're saying, okay, where do I put the second organization, right? Because there's no place. So you scroll up to the top and you see this add button right here. You click add. And then it wipes out the page, and then you put the second organization, org 2. And then you write the summary or the description of the role of org 2 to your organization in the implementation of this project. You go up to the top and you click save. All right, so org 2 is in there, and then there'll be a drop-down box, and you expand the drop-down box, and you say, okay, there's 2 organizations. I got to do one more. So I scroll up to the top, click add again. I'll put org3 and write the description in here, and then go up to the top and click save. And let me tell you, so this is recorded, it's on Facebook, it's going to be on our web page, and sometimes, not sometimes, I know when a person has never watched the webinar, right? When they say, do you want support letters? And my answer is, you didn't watch this webinar, did you? And they'll say no. I said, well, go watch the webinar, and then if you have any other questions, then get back to me. They never get back to me. All right, so now everything has been saved. You open up the drop-down box, 1, 2, 3 organizations. Good, go to Forms menu, and every section that's complete and without errors has a pencil mark. You see that? The statement of collaboration, you'll see 3 over here, and another window opens up where you'll be able to click on each one of those 3, right? So the next one is project description. Now the project description is broken down into project design, target population, project goals, evaluation, right? Which whoever's doing this section needs to have the grant guidelines open so they know exactly what to put in each box. So for right now, I'm going to write test. And I'm going to go up to the top and I'm going to click save next. So it takes me to the next page. All right, so now we're on the budget page, right? So I said, you're going to have to, can we, 85% of the grant can be used for personnel, $2,000 for purchase technology, $1,500 for admin costs, and $1,000 for staff development, right? So if you're going to charge the OFBI grant, hold on for a second. If you're going to charge the OFBI grant fiscal, then you're going to have to do 2 separate pay. And if you got like one person you're going to charge fiscal off the grant and another person you're not going to charge fiscal off the grant, you're going to have to do 2 separate pages. So this is to be the fiscal page, and I'm just doing ones in here, right? I'm just because everybody's different, but you understand what I'm talking about. And so let's say that you're going to do, I don't know, program coordinator, and the name is Fred Flintstone, right? Annual salary, Fred makes about $30,000 a year. Standard weekly hours, he works about 35 hours a week. Weekly hours on this project, let's say 5, and let's say you're going to charge Fred $5,000 off the grant. And then you have another program coordinator, let's say, right? Program coordinator. What you need to do is you can't have 2 titles that are exactly the same. So you want to make them unique. So this will be program coordinator 1, and then this will be program coordinator 2, right? And so let's say it's going to be, I forgot Fred Flintstone's wife's name. I remember all the guys. I don't know. Anyway, Scooby-Doo. I didn't like that cartoon much. Let's say Scooby-Doo makes 25,000. Let's say Scooby-Doo works 30 hours a week. Let's say he's going to work 5 hours and you're going to charge $5,000 off the grant. Once you do that, Sage is going to calculate the percentage of weekly hour work time on the project, and if what you're charging is enough money for the time that Fred and or Scooby are working on the job. So Sage does this automatically. So you go up to the top and you click save. All right, so you'll see here that Sage calculated this, and it said there's a negative here. You're paying Fred and Scooby too much money, right? That's what it's saying. That's what the negative is, because the total funds needed is actually 4,286. But we're really concerned about this column, but we don't want any negatives, because if you get awarded, this budget gets automatically transferred into your award contract. And then when you start doing reports, the negatives kill us. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this $4,000. And I'm going to change this to 4,000. And these are the type of the budget somersaults that you have to do in order to get this stuff right. Go up to the top and click save. And perfect. There are no negatives here, right? And what Sage does is says, okay, you're charging the grant 4,000. The actual total funds needed is 4,286 based on the percentage of time on the job and the hours on the job and the salary that they make. So Sage automatically assumes that the 286 is coming from other funding sources. We don't necessarily focus on that, right? And so Sage automatically assumes that the 167 to make this 4,167 whole comes from other funding sources. And then Sage automatically calculates the fringe. And so your total personnel is 8,560, right? Now if you're going to charge a person a salary, or you're gonna charge OFBI a percentage of another person's salary, but you don't want to charge them fringe, you click add. And you leave the fringe blank. And you put in the position of I don't know, director, right? And the staff person's name is I don't know, and the salary is 35,000. Let's say they make the weekly hours on this job would be 5 hours, or whatever it is you want to put there. Weekly, oh no, weekly hours on the job is 35, and then these weekly hours on this project is 5, and you're going to charge 3,000 off of OFBI, right? You come up to the top and you click save. And it's doing all this calculations and adding, and it'll say, okay, boom, $3,000. So thus far you spent $11,500 on personnel. Then you go to forms menu, scroll down to the next budget form, which is consultant contractors. And let's say you want to get a graduate intern, right? And to do evaluation and research. And you're going to pay them a stipend of I don't know, $500. And you're going to charge the office $500, right? You got to make sure that there is a true employer non-employee relationship as per IRS regulation. You click yes, right? And then let's say you want to, I don't know, get a fund developer or support an existing fund developer, write grants, right, for the organization. And let's say you want to charge the grant $5,000 for that position as a consultant, and then that's 5,500 right there, right? And then you go up to the top and you click save. We'll allow you to do stuff like this. I mean, if you're really creative on how you want to use the money, right? 5,500. Then you go to forms menu. Oops, go to forms menu, and then you go to other cost categories. And so on the cost categories, let's say you want admin, expenses not yet realized. Unless you're going to say, yeah, we want the whole kit, we want the whole $1,500, Ed. So you put cost estimate is 15, grant requested from state is $1,500. And then let's say you want to get technology. Let's say you want to get 2 laptops at 500 each and 2 docking stations at 500 each, right? That's 2,000 bucks. So the cost estimate is 2,000, and what you're charging the office is 2,000, and boom, right? And then let's say you want you want to do you want to do meals. Let's say you want to do meals, right? Now, do you really want to do meals, or do you think you can use the meals out of the admin? That's how you gotta ask yourself some questions. Why do we have to have a meal line item if we have $1,500 in admin? So I'm not gonna do meals. Let's say staff development, right? Staff development, training. Over here, staff development. And then over here, it's going to be, let's say you're not sure, so you're going to do 500. The cost estimate is 500. You did your research, and you're charging the grant $500, right? And I think that's what you want to do. You say, okay, we're good with this because we have other funding from other places. We have donations. We can really make this work. Go up to the top and click save. We're almost done, folks. It's like, I think, another 5 minutes. All right, so that's all done. Then you hover over Forms menu and you scroll down to overall budget. You're gonna say, oh my God, there's an error. Relax, I'm gonna talk you through it. You click overall budget. Takes a second. So you'll see here that some of the stuff that you put in here didn't really transfer over. So the first thing you want to do is click save. You click save. Everything populates over. Remember, the max request is 20,000. And I think the total on the bottom for OFBI request was $21,060. So if this is what you see, and you know that you can only request the max is 20,000, then you're going to have to go back to those other forms, these other budget forms, by going to Forms menu and figuring out where you're going to reduce, where you're going to take that $1,060 from. It doesn't have to be from one line item. It can be from a number of different line items to get you to the 20,000. Okay. Then you hover over Forms, scroll down to required appendices. So under required appendices, you're going to be asked to upload the board resolution. It's just one upload. So you're going to click the file, go to where that is in your laptop or PC, scroll up to the top and click save. Great. And then you're going to hover over Forms menu. You're going to scroll all the way down to appendices. And this is a tip I'm giving you. So let's say you're really wordy. Let's say you just got to say a million words just to say, go across the street. Go across the street. That's 4 words, but it takes you like 10 words to say, go across the street. And there's just nothing you can do about it. In each of those text boxes for the program design and program description, you can end it with, please see appendices for addendums. And you can add addendums here to support each one of those sections so you can add more information. That's a trick. That's a trick. So for the description, for the logic model, you write logic model, you'll choose the file where it's at, and then you click, and then you upload. And then let's say you want to say, let's say it's project design, addendum, right? Then you click. If you want to add more stuff or add some other additional information, find where that addendum is at and upload it there. You see what I'm trying to say? So even though there's a character count in the actual application, you can provide additional information here. Okay. All right, so after that's all done, you come up to the top and you click save. It's temperamental. All right, everything is saved. You you hover over Forms menu, make sure there's no errors. If there was an error, you'd see a little orange hand. There are no errors. You hover over status change. You go on. You click the apply status under application submitted. Right? You get to the agreement page. It's going to say, "Are you sure you want to submit your application?" You go, "Heck yeah, I want to submit this thing. I'm done with it." Right? And remember, I told you when you first created the application, this was empty. And then once you submit it, it populates all that information from all those other pages. So now it's completed, right? Submitted. Under details. So I get folks that say, I'm not sure if I submitted my application. Well, guess what? If you actually submitted your application, under details, on the current status, it'll say application submitted. Then you can enjoy the rest of your summer, because we're not going to give you an answer till about August or September, because we got to go through the peer review process internally. Okay, so now let me answer some of these questions. So in the chat, what information has changed from an organization profile created last year? Okay, Brenda, that's a good question. If you uploaded profile information from last year and there aren't any, I don't know, maybe there's a telephone number change, maybe your certificate of standing is changed, maybe you're not complying with your charity registration number, I suggest you just go through these steps and make sure that you're compliant, right? The profile, organization profile, there might be leadership people may change, the program director may have changed. So you're going to have to figure out what were the changes and make those changes there. Wilma was his wife's name. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. You're aging yourself. Okay, 3 questions. Are we able to apply if our initial charitable registration has been submitted but still pending? Would you happen to know the approval time span for charitable registration? Dr. Quincy, you can apply, because we're not going to enter into contracting with you until you're able to upload your approved charitable registration number and your proof that that number is valid. So it takes about 3 months. So I'm not sure when you submit it. So use that as a gauge. College readiness, 4-year college only. If so, any 4-year college, any 4-year college, Ed. Oh, listen, junior colleges are good too, man. County colleges, we're good with that, because maybe some kids aren't ready for 4-year colleges. Maybe they're not mature enough yet. Now, it doesn't mean that they have to go to a JUCO in New Jersey. I mean, a junior college in New Jersey. There's junior colleges all over the place. So you can give them the experience of going away to college by attending a 2-year college out of state, if that's what they want to do, so that they can get that experience. Rick Nichols, is a match required? No, Rick, no match is required. Okay, let me go back to the chat. Dr. Quincy, thanks. And let me see, are there any more questions here? No more questions. All right, everybody. So this webinar will be uploaded onto our grant page, and it's also on the NJOFBI website. So I want to thank you for participating, and I'm gonna stop the recording.